Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, my name's Kyle Aris. Welcome back to my channel. Awesome stuff to see you once again. So today we're going to be having a little bit of a cheeky cast between Mr. Bischu, dBischu, going to be spawning here as the yellow Protoss down in the bottom left hand corner, and up in the top right hand corner we do have Mr. mouzMorroW going to be spawning as the red Zergy, and he is going to be trying to fend off the dBischu horde here. See if he can do anything about that. So we are going to be on Shakuras Plateau by the looks of things. And it looks like this is the old version of Shakuras Plateau. What an odd turn of events. I believe it must be the MLG Shakuras Plateau on the EU server, as that is notoriously out of date. But never mind, not at all. It doesn't matter, as both players will have the same advantages and disadvantages as one another. So it all makes up for things, but you know, it depends on races and things like that, so it's all good. So it looks like Mr. mouzMorroW here is just going to be doing not much right now, not going to be going for anything too cheesy. Meanwhile, we do have Bischu going to be going for that wall in at the top of his ramp, probably going to be going for our Nexus as quickly as possible behind this. And I forgot to mention, ladies and gents, that this is a best of 3, so we will be having a bit of Bischu and a bit of mouzMorroW heading off against one another for, I don't know, maybe about an hour or so. It all depends on whether or not they make these games last. So it looks like Bischu going to be scouting around a little bit here. Does see that extractor first, so he is going to know that there is going to be no kind of crazy spawn hatchery timings. We do have that spawning pool going down as well, and that's always a nice thing to go for as a Zergy, especially in this situation where, you know, the Protoss may have a forge slightly faster than you know, normal, so you can kind of stop any kind of cannon things from going on. Not going for that hatchery first initially allows you to kind of avoid that to a certain extent. Meanwhile, though, it looks like Bischu's going to be saving up here and going for the Nexus first. That's quite a bit of a bold move, but not too bad at all. He's already seen the spawning pool timing. He's seen, as you can see, let's just go to the vision of Mr. Bischu here. Bischu even, you can see that the spawning pool is at a pretty standard time, so ultimately he can get away with this if he decides to go for a pretty good wall in. A lone cannon is there as well, including some SimCity. Will be able to fend off any kind of Zergling pressure that does come his way. All depends on whether or not Mr. mouzMorroW is going to be going for some crazy aggression, and that's something we see a lot from mouzMorroW. He goes for that really, really high-end aggression, goes for those Baneling drops, goes for Baneling busts in general against any race that he desires. So back at home, Mr. Bischu here going to be going for his forge after gateway, and that's a not too bad a choice in this position. You can ultimately be ahead on tech if you can go for that gateway as quickly as possible, in the sense that you normally get that cybernetics core quite late with this build, but ultimately he's taking the risk ever so slightly, going to assume that no Zerglings are going to be coming along. Regardless, even if they did come along, he will be able to block that off pretty easily with a cybernetics core that he has already thrown down, but he has let a bit of a gap there, so it looks like he is going to be darting around here, there and everywhere with this lone probe. You have that expansion going down for mouzMorroW, but at the same time Bischu has already finished up here, so he's going to be around that lone cannon in order to be able to fend off any little early aggression pushes that do come along, and we'll have to see where he goes from with this. But here's the thing, as Protoss, if Mr. mouzMorroW does spot this, then ultimately he is going to know exactly what to do. Probably going to end up going for that very, very quick third, as behind this Protoss has very limited opportunities that they can go for behind it. And ultimately, a lot of those opportunities can be shut down by Spore Crawler play from a Zerg put in this position. So we'll have to see if mouzMorroW does go for that. Say the Stargates, and whoa, wait a minute, we already have a Stargate on the way for Mr. Bischu. So he is looking to maybe going to go for some Void Ray hijinks. Looks like this is going to be spotted, though, by these Zerglings. They go up the ramp ever so slightly, and by the looks of no, he didn't spot the Stargate, so that could be big at this point. It all depends on not. Let's see the rally there going across that path. Would Zergling see that? Maybe just there. We'll have to see if he does indeed spot those, if they do come out. So now we have a layer morphing in. Pretty quick layer here for mouzMorroW at this point. 6-minute layer. Oh my good god. What is he going to be going for behind this? I won't be surprised if we did see maybe some Hydralisks. Yeah, that is always certainly a possibility. But now we do have that Void Ray coming out. And once he sees that tech, he is going to maybe want to go for those Hydralisks. Having a layer that quickly as a Zerg player obviously leaves you with the options to go for anything at that point. You can go for those Overseers if you need them. If your opponent does go for that kind of DT harass, and with that, you know, Void Ray harass on the way, he could be in a good position. But wait a minute. Speaking of mouzMorroW aggression, going to be going for Ventral Sacks here, and probably going to be going for MLG Carapace as well in order to be able to go for those kind of drop plays that we do see Morrow go for a lot. Do the Zerglings spot that? They do barely spot that, so maybe he did see that. It was only on his radar for just a smidge. We do have that MLG Carapace on the way as well out of that hatchery, so he's going to be going for some crazy drop play at this point. Also has a Baneling nest morphing in, so maybe going to drop some Banelings on the army if he sees fit. As I say, mouzMorroW, this is really his style as Zerg. You see this so much in almost every matchup from him. So now this Void Ray looking for the third here, which would be the normal traditional move for a Zerg in these positions, but mouzMorroW looking to end this maybe on 2 bases with those drops. Going to probably drop into the main, see what does happen. That lone Zergling will spot this Void Ray, so if it didn't spot it before at the front of his base, he has spotted him now. So now these Void Rays coming in here, trying to do a little bit of damage. Not too much air defense here out for mouzMorroW. Where on earth is all his air defense? Maybe going to be going for a base trade? He's moving his Overlords into position already, kind of sacrificing any kind of air, kind of anti-air that he does have. It looks like we're going to have a lot of Zerglings moving across the map here. Could load those up into the Overlords, ferry them onto the high ground in the main. Looks like that Queen does fall to these Void Rays, and a second Queen will be on the way, but one of these Void Rays is already charged up, so now he will be focusing down the layer, which could be big. He won't be able to mine from this base at all at that point once it does go down. Baneling's going to be morphing in now, though. We have a few Overlords on the way, and this is the big thing as a Protoss. When you do go for this wall in with expansion, you leave yourself very vulnerable to these kind of alternate attack routes, and this is exactly what mouzMorroW is going to be exploiting here. Going to be lifting up his entire army into the main of dBischu, and this could do a lot of damage indeed. Just going back to the Void Rays, though, a third Void Ray going to be coming in here. Does take out the layer, so now all he needs to do is be able to take out this natural, and he'll be in a good position. But then again, the Evolution Chamber's finished. Will he be throwing down some Spore Crawlers? At the same time, though, a lot of Zerglings doing so much damage in the base of dBischu. This could be huge. A Void Ray is here to clean it up, but it's not going to be quick enough. Void Rays take absolutely forever to kill off all these Zerglings. Baneling's going to be moving down here, do take out a few sentries, and kind of be lifting in some Banelings once again. Maybe take out these cannons. The cannons do go down, but we're trying to reinforce dBischu's front position. And now we have a few Spore Crawlers going to be morphing in, but it's not going to be enough at this point. They all fall pretty darn quickly. A few more in the back trying to morph in. If you can just get those morphed in, routing them for 6 seconds isn't too big a deal. All the Zerglings going to be able to tear apart dBischu's base at this point, as mouzMorroW going for this highly aggressive style behind the kind of little aggression that dBischu is putting on, but the little aggression is doing so much damage right now, able to take out both of these bases by the looks of things. This hatchery is so low, he just needs to focus it down ever so slightly in order to limit kind of exclude all mining from mouzMorroW at this point. The hatchery does fall, all the Spore Crawlers going to try to move into position. These Void Rays are charged, though. You have that hatchery going down once again, and mouzMorroW GG's after failing to break the natural by the looks of things. So that is going to do it for Game 1, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back with Game 2 in just a second. Don't go anywhere.